Yo, 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 oh, whoopsie. Well, if that ain't a good omen for this run, I don't know what is. Anyway, let's talk about The Legend of Korra. I've just gotten off the high of watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and now I finally found out where to watch Korra, The Legend of Korra, aka the sequel. And shit is pretty great so far. I am 10 episodes in. And I have, yeah, it's pretty good. I have opinions, but it's overall really good. Even though my sister told me that first season and second season apparently is kinda mid. Not really ass, but just kinda mid. And I can see where it's coming from, unless there's some, like, big twist that is, like, really ruins everything. Like, I could easily see, the big bad evil guy, the masked man, just, you know, being really underwhelming as a villain, quote unquote villain, anti-hero more so. But like so far, there's not much wrong with this. Like, yeah, the characters are flawed, but it's more so like, you know, for example, our main character, fucking Korra. She makes some questionable decisions. She definitely has issues, right? But it's also just it's way more interesting to watch her work and trying to figure out, like, who she is. Maybe controversial, but I think more interesting than Aang, just because Aang was kind of just the ultimate good guy, you know? He was a naive kid, but he was just a generally good guy. That didn't really think things through before he did them. I guess that also explains or describes Korra really well, though. So I don't really know. I'm trying to like compare the two because they're both avatars, right? They're like reincarnations of each other, or you know, whatchamacallit. But I don't know if I should compare them. They are just. They're so the same, but so different. I don't know how else to really get that across. So I guess I will try to explain that, try to come to a conclusion here. How I feel. But I feel more so connected to Korra, just because I feel like she's more human than Aang, which feels weird to say. Because I really do like Aang. Aang is just like a good guy. He's a good character, right? I love Aang. But, oh, damn, I am not used to him coming from that direction. I almost forgot that he could even do that. So, Korra is more so just like a normal-ass human being, you know, a person, normal-ass person with normal person problems, who just happens to be the Avatar. Where I feel like Aang more so felt like, okay, he is the Avatar who happens to be a normal person also. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. I'm not sure if that's how I'm supposed to be to be feeling, but that's how I be feeling. Anyway, I guess the first arc, I guess, of the show is, like, kinda over now. At least the first part of the first arc, where we've just been attacked by, you know, it's all ramping up more and more. The Equalists, the non-benders, are standing up to the benders. Because essentially, everything happening in this city, in the Republic City? Republic City, yeah. That sounds right. Everything happening in Republic City is basically ruled by the benders, because they are, of course, way better at enforcing things, like, than normal non-benders, like normal people. And people are inclined to listen to them, but that is, of course, like a fundamentally pretty flawed system. Because then it all turns out that, surprise, surprise, all the non-benders kind of feel a little, you know, a little teeny tiny bit oppressed. And that their voices aren't really heard, even though that's probably, you know, not what Aang wanted. You know, he made this city out of, like, the remnants of the Fire Nation colonies. But eventually, you know, Aang fucking, I don't know if he gets killed or something, he passes on. And this is, of course, a whole ass sequel, like, many years later. And I really do like, I want to point out real quick before I forget it. I really like Tenzin also. I think he might be my favorite guy, just because he feels so refreshing. Like, yeah, he kinda looks like Aang. He kinda, you know, he's Aang's son, of course. But he feels like such a different guy, which makes sense. He should be. It's all A-okay. But he feels so different. He feels like such a force of good in such an, you know, in such a different way than Aang. I'm basically just, every single character in the show I'm comparing to Aang for some reason. And like, they're all pretty close to being like Aang, but in such different ways. They are just different. And I don't really know how to explain it. I'm explaining it really poorly, my bad, gang, but I generally really like this version of, like, of a main cast, just because they are pretty similar in a lot of ways. Like, everyone is similar in a lot of ways. Dude, please move. But they're so different in, like, very subtle ways also. So it's just interesting to see how they be moving, how they interact with each other. And also trying to figure out, like, the huge gap that was between, you know, the ending of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The gap between that and current day Legend of Korra. Like, what has happened? Who's still around? What's going on in the world? How's the situation? Because ultimately we've only really seen this, like, Republic City, and we've seen a little bit of the, I think, Northern Water Tribe, where Korra comes from. And that's kinda it. I think we've seen little teeny tiny snippets of the Fire Nation, but, like, we have not delved into that at all. But I feel like we're about to explore more of it, because the Fire Nation has just been called, or at least the General Iroh, who is probably the son of Zuko. I like the fact that he's named after Iroh, by the way. I love that. But basically, the Equalists, the non-benders, are, you know, ferociously attacking the city, and basically creating, like, a civil war. And finally, the fucking Fire Nation is called to help out and, you know, figure out what the hell is going on. And I really do like the villains. Yeah, what's his name? Amon? Amon. I'm pretty sure it's Amon. I'm gonna say Amon. I like him as a villain just because he is not really a... I don't know, it sounds weird to say, but he is as much a character as he is, like, a concept. And I like those sorts of villains. Just because it's so, like, it's not really a person we have to defeat. Like, we defeat Amon and everything goes back to the way it was. Everything everything is fixed. It's not like when, in Avatar, just defeat the big bad Fire Lord and everything will be A-okay, paradise will be created. No, no, no. There is huge, like, societal problems in this city that Aang created. Of course not on purpose, but he still probably, without really thinking about it, he probably put a lot of benders in positions of power. And, you know, here are the consequences of that. And basically, you know, we see even just like the working people how the society has been using. For example, we see a little clip of the, I don't know, the hot guy of the Fire Ferret brothers. He goes to work in some factory, which is basically just like you know that one place in Pokemon Heart Gold where the is it Heart Gold? There is some place in some Pokemon game, at least, where a bunch of Voltorbs or Electrodes are just kind of stationed up to a power plant, and they're using their electricity. In the same way, this society is basically fueled on firebenders and like using their powers. Like they're just on their 9-to-5 job. They're just pushing like lightning powers or fire powers or whatever into these machines to make everything run, which I really do like. I like these, like all these small little things that are just like a not really a consequence, but like related to the fact that this entire city has been built upon the fact that benders exist, and they are, like, benders in general are pushing this city to its furthest fucking limits. And I really like that concept, like building a city upon who lives in there, and like what would they be doing? Like, it's not just a normal city from our world, and it's not just a normal city of like how you know, based on how it was before in Avatar: The Last Airbender. They are very successfully making their own like identity, both through the city and through the show, through the new series here. And in that same way, I feel like that gives our main cast here, that I said that I compared a lot of them to Aang, for example Tenzin, for example Korra. They have like their own sort of identity just because they grew up in such a different way. The same can be said for you know, what's her name, Bofon? Toph's daughter, who I still don't really know. Speaking of, I don't know if like the old Team Avatar, the old gens are still alive, or if they're just like are they alive, just hiding out somewhere? I don't really know. We haven't seen anybody other than Katara, who's just like a very old-looking lady chilling out on the, you know, in Korra's hometown. I guess we know that Aang is dead, but is Zuko still alive? Is Sokka still alive? How about, you know, as I said, Toph? But the point is, I'm not really comparing them to, like... Okay, so I have this thing where I really don't like Boruto. For the reason, you know, the sequel to Naruto, the reason I don't really like it as a concept is because the characters are just like basically fucking carbon copies of their parents. You know, the Genin squads that we get to know in the OG Naruto, and you know, and Shippuden also, but I guess it's basically just like the smart guy is smart and he uses the exact same jutsu. The fat guy is still fat, but you know, instead of being a boy, it's a girl who is fat, but it's still the exact same powers, the exact same personalities, the exact same everything, even though it's in a very similar situation where basically the entire world has been like in turmoil for so long, but now they're in an era of peace, you know? Things are changing, technology is evolving, but that does not reflect on any of the main characters. I guess other than Boruto, but that could even just be attributed to him being the son of the Hokage, you know, the president of the Leaf Village, essentially. Rosa. But here in Korra, I guess that's low standards comparing it to Boruto, but Korra does a really good job, the series, of just like having its own identity, separate from, but still definitely related to The Last Airbender. And it's really cool. It's pretty cool to see, like, basically a different version of this world. And I'm just kind of excited to see more from, you know, the world itself, and not just this city. Even though I really do like the city, I really want to know if, like, you know, is this city a one-time thing, that there is, like, a rebellion and people hate benders, like... in the Fire Nation, for example, are there still only firebenders who live there? And how are they treated after, you know, also after the, like, the wars and everything they did, how are they treated by the non-Fire Nation people? I don't really know what I expect. I hope so, that we're actually gonna go visit the different places that we did visit. For example, the airbending temples. I really want to go visit the airbending temples, because why the fuck shouldn't we? Like, Korra is basically now fleeing with Tenzin's family, aka Aang's family. I expect them to... I don't know if they said where they were going, but I expect them kinda to go... good game, good game. I expect them to go to an air temple. That's where it would make sense for them to go. And then, you know, Korra can actually go and master, or at least learn how to do basic airbending. Because she is still pretty terrible at airbending. She has the skill down with the I don't know, the turning walls, or the rotating, like, paper walls, whatever you want to call them. She has that down pretty good, just because of the pro bending stuff. They actually didn't win the tournament, but they did really well. Their little squad, their little team. But you know, I'm more so interested in like the bigger world here, which is what I'm trying to get at. Is that I really want to explore. I just want to go out and explore the world, because we have not done so, you know, basically at all in this series. In Korra, we've only seen this one singular city, which is still fine. I like what's going on in the city, and I want, like, a good conclusion to that. I see a lot of potential in where this is going, especially because it's not, again, it's not like we beat up one guy and everything is fixed. It's more of a, we need to fix this core problem that is plaguing the city. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So we've seen so far, holy shit, we see the cabbage guy again. I almost forgot. We see the fucking, I think he has a whole new ass company now. I think it's just called the Cabbage Corp. Cabbage Corporation, Cabbage, something. But it is very much the same shtick, where he gets, like, pulled away by the cop guys. He gets fucked over. But this time it's not really his own fault. I guess it is, but he is, like, he is allied, I suppose, with the, I was about to call them fucking neo-Nazis. Goddamn, rough. He is allied with the Equalists. That's their name. My bad for the awkward silence there. He's allied with the Equalists, and kind of, you know, covering up for, you know, just making new technology and stuff for them. But who is also doing that, other than the lovable cabbage guy, who I am very happy to see back? It is, of course, the most obvious guy of them all. The rich guy with glasses and a very evil mustache. He is, of course, evil. I saw that coming like 50 miles away. But nonetheless, I like it. It's like, it feels like Avatar, you know. It's predictable, but it's still good. Type beat, type shit. So I like it. overall. But it was kind of predictable that he was an evil guy. Also, like, he has sort of connections to the gang, to the Team Avatar, because the hot-looking guy from Team Avatar has been run over, and you know the classic. Oh, Obama filler. The classic. Oh, I run you over or I run into you, and I don't fucking know. You get hurt, and we both fall in love with each other for some reason. That happened to the hot guy of the Fire Ferrets and this guy's daughter, which I feel like he had planned, or like he had some sort of scheme to, but apparently not. It was just like an accident. It just happened naturally, which I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like this guy is not. I guess he's not like the main villain also, but he's. I feel like he was a big enough villain, quote-unquote villain, to have something of the sort planned out. But I guess not. It's not needed. It would just have been like the fine cherry on top, like, wahaha, this entire relationship has been orchestrated by me because I am evil. Except he's not really evil. He just wants like justice for his dead wife. Which is. I mean, yeah, sure. It's a decent, at least, like, motivation. But I wish that we had learned that sooner, just to, you know, I guess there were, like, multiple pointers. More so just his. I don't actually know what tipped me off to this guy being evil. I just knew it immediately when I saw him, but I didn't really have any good reasons to think so. Whereas if we knew that the guy's wife was, you know, fucking killed by some bender, we could have had the pieces to figure out that, okay, this guy is definitely with the Equalists, right? But that didn't really happen. It would have been really easy for fucking the. I forget their names. Their last names are Sato. I'm just gonna refer to the girl, the daughter, as Sato, and the father as I guess father, big bad guy, or least bad guy, little bad guy. Yeah, we'll call him little bad guy. So Sato told, you know, she told the hot ferret guy that her mother died, and, you know, a sad backstory, but she didn't tell them she didn't tell him how she died. I don't know if she actually knew, but it would have been so easy to just drop that in there, and, you know, at least now the puzzle piece is on the board, you know? I just stood there and tanked that. That was incredible. So I would have. I kind of wished that was the case, but I guess not. Again, I'm nitpicking. I do like the classic. The evil-looking guy is actually evil. I don't know. There's something about that trope. I was not taking the chance there. So. Anyhow, we find out through, you know, Avatar coincidence shenanigans that this guy actually is conspiring against, you know, the government, I guess, against the council. He's conspiring with the Equalists, is what I'm trying to say. But there's not really any good evidence. When I saw it, I kind of expected them to fucking rug pull me, not rug pull me, but like, you know, subvert expectations, and like, they're clearly setting up this guy to be like the bad guy. He has this evil aura around him, and he is like, he said some very sus things about, you know, we need to strike now, or, you know, something like that. But he had like this whole cover story of like No, the Cabbage Corporation was our biggest enemy. We need to strike the market now. The market guys. That was what I was talking about. But you know, that would instead of that, we just get the whole, oh no, actually he is a bad guy, and good thing you caught him, Korra. Great job. I feel like it would have been way more interesting if he actually was just a good guy. Oh, I was so close to fumbling you again. It would have been really cool if Jesus Christ, what's going on? Jesus. I swear I am not fumbling this hard. I'm fumbling a bit, but I'm not fumbling that hard. It would have been really interesting if he actually was like a bad guy, a bad guy. Or a good guy, guy. Fuck, I am fumbling my speeches now. My speech is ruined. My yap is ruined. Let's start over again. Because this guy was just set up to be this cartoonishly evil guy. Not really cartoonishly evil, but, you know, at least a bad guy. And the whole, like, Korra is spiraling down this, like, slope of, like, nobody is really believing her. And she's just losing more and more faith among, like, like, her friends, her people, you know? So it would have been, like, the final icing on the fucking cake that this girl who stole the hot guy from her, because that's a whole nother plotline, by the way, she's trying to frame her dad, who's just like an innocent, good guy, but trying to frame him to be like the, you know, this evil co-conspirator guy, but he's actually a good guy all along. So she's just doing it for like selfish reasons, it seems, but we of course know that it's not. This is all just like fan fiction. This is of course not what happened, but I would like that to have happened. That would have been pretty cool, methinks. But no, nothing of the sort. This just turns out to be a really evil guy, and he is, you know, both conspiring with. Wait, is he both conspiring? No. Wait. Who? Okay, because I just realized, I just remembered, what's his name? Fucking Tarlock? The guy on the council that everybody apparently agrees with. I feel like the other three on the council are just really useless. They have no personality, and the only thing they have done is just like raise their hands and look kinda awkward. That is all they have done, the other councilmen. Are they not specifically chosen because they are supposed to have opinions? I guess they do have opinions, but it feels a lot more like they're being peer pressured by Tarlock. Tarlock, of course, being the guy who is, you know, kind of the opposite of Tenzin. He doesn't wait around for you know, for the Equalists to reveal their hand or to actually, you know, be in a vulnerable position. He takes the chances he's got, and he takes all of them. But he's also kind of clever about it, so I like him as a, you know, quote-unquote force of evil. He turns out to be really evil, but in the beginning, he was just like a decent guy, but with questionable methods of doing things. But this time around, he is definitely evil. He conspires to be like against. He straight up locks Korra in a fucking cage, and, you know, fucking waits, just puts her in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. She really has it out for Korra. And it is pretty, I mean, it's pretty funny to see, but like all the things that would have, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I'm getting at, what is distracting me is the thought that this guy is a bloodbender, which is really, I feel like it was kind of too convenient to, in Avatar, have, you know, I rambled a bit about Katara not using bloodbending, but I kind of miss the fact that you have to have a full moon to do it. You know, against the fight with the Sula. So, you know, all in all, pretty good. But then we come around here and people can just like use it without a full moon, or at least this guy can, and his dad could too. And he absolutely humiliated like the entire council. Both of them, both him and his dad, humiliated the council. Which is really, like, this is really putting into perspective that, yeah, I guess I was right about this entire thing. Bloodbending is overpowered as hell. And I felt like it wasn't used properly, or it wasn't as overpowered in The Last Airbender, even though it should have been really overpowered. But it is incredibly overpowered here. Fucking trust me on that. God damn. Wait, you actually... Huh, crazy. Okay. Yeah, I can live with this. Hell yeah. Huge Umu fight. I usually die to Umu for like the shittiest reasons ever. But I guess. Alright. How we doing, Winged Nosk? So overall, I do like that bloodbending has become like way more powerful. But it doesn't really fit with the whole power, you know, the consistency of the powers in this show are very, very rough. Because it's very inconsistent overall, is what I'm trying to get at. This whole shebang has just been kind of like the back and forth between the Equalists and our main benders here, the new Team Avatar, and the Council in general, and the police force have been so incredibly inconsistent. Because the entire the entirety of the Equalist, it seems, can, like, you know, chi block, chi bend. They can block out your chi, kind of like, what's her... Ty Lee? Yeah, Ty Lee. Just like Ty Lee did in The Last Airbender. Which is pretty cool. I like seeing it become more relevant, because it seems really overpowered. And it is. And, you know, with this more developed city, of course, they're gonna, you know, they take it very seriously, this, like, their entire thing, this revolution they're leading. So it makes sense that they would all be very serious about learning, fucking chi blocking. But I feel like their powers are very inconsistent. Sometimes they are absolutely clobbering the main guys, the good guys here, and sometimes they are hella useless against the good guys, and that could just as much be like the good guys are fucking like inconsistent in their powers. I can accept that answer too, but something is very inconsistent at the very least. And it kind of feels like the power, like, who is stronger is just up to, like, who the plot needs to be stronger. Like, who does the plot need to win this little encounter? But it happens so often that I cannot really overlook it like I can in so many other shows. Especially because this is all about, like, exploring the new ways of, you know, like, there are so many new elements. It's not just, fucking firebending versus waterbending. It's like, you have metal bending, you have blood bending, you have chi blocking, you have the you know, Amon's power to, kind of like Aang did and the turtle, stuff, and, you know, blocking out the chi, permanently removing bending. I don't know if I ever said that, but that is Amon's power basically. He can get you in a right position. If he gets you into the right position, he can basically block your bending powers for fucking forever. Which is a pretty cool power to have, and it's a pretty scary power. But I also feel like a lot of the main guys are really overlooking how, you know, I guess how serious this is. Oh, I forgot completely how to fight against Sly. I feel like I'm gonna fumble this so hard. I have completely forgotten how to Sly. This is pretty bad actually. Can I heal here? I can. Okay, that's one place to heal at least. I feel like I should be way better at the nail arts here, but I don't know his movements well enough to know when I can ramp up for a nail art. So I'm not sure if I should have healed there. I'm gonna take this fight a bit seriously, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up, just because I know that this might be one of the last chances I get to get a new record here. Oh well, who knows? Who knows when? God damn, okay, that takes 2 health bars. That is something new to consider. Okay, that is entirely my own fault. Holy shit. I am fumbling this fight so hard. I tried to save that and not dive so I could heal when I got back to the ground. But his fucking slash went on for way longer than I thought. This sucks. This really sucks. I should have... I don't know. I feel like I should practice more just so I can actually get further, but you know, practicing takes time, and I don't want to spend more time playing Hollow Knight than I need to, quote unquote need to. Well, I guess we're gonna be stuck at Sly for forever. Hell yeah. I'm heading out now. Bye, gang.